Aloha, welcome to the 365 Hawaii East Hawaii Market Update. And I am Julie Ziemelis with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here with Amber Haley, Real Brokers.
Yes.
And she is going to be bringing you guys the statistics and the updates on what's happening in the East Hawaii real estate market. So we're going to start with that first. But first, Amber, do you want to kind of just give everyone kind of like the sizzling news of what's happening overall in the market?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just jump right in. So over in East Hawaii, we are seeing, like we've been kind of talking about in a lot of our updates, the market is kind of correcting. It's shifting. So we're seeing things slowing down. I'm seeing a lot more open houses. That was something that during all the frenzy that we had during the pandemic, I didn't see as much of because houses would just sell so fast before you'd even get to the weekend open house. So things were so frantic, but now I'm seeing it takes a little bit more effort to sell a house. We're seeing more days on market. So listing agents are really stepping it up, and I can tell. Open houses, I am getting calls from listing agents when they realize that I have a prospect that maybe meets the criteria of a house.
Yep.
That's something that I wasn't really seeing during the pandemic because it would sell so fast. I am usually pretty hopeful now when I submit an offer that we're going to have a good chance of getting it accepted if it's a good offer, if it's a reasonable, fair offer, because there's a lot less competition. We do still see some multiple offers, but in general, things are just kind of sitting on the market a more normal amount of time. And it's a great time to buy, I think.
Yeah. In fact, over here on our side, I'm involved with some transactions that are actually being able to be closed early because the escrow companies aren't out of their mind with busyness, and the lenders aren't out of their minds, and the inspectors aren't out of their minds. So things are actually getting done pretty quickly right now.
Yeah. And that's another thing I can tell is I'm getting a lot more communication from lenders and escrow officers, who were so busy. They literally didn't have time for any more clients. Now they're kind of like, oh, hi, Amber. Oh, hi, other realtors. Like, if you guys need anything, we're here. We're always here. It's back to that kind of thing. Like, everyone's trying to get business.
People asking for the business, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's fun. Let's jump in and
let's go for
see
some
what
numbers.
the market is doing.
Okay. Oh, does Eric have a question? Okay.
Yeah, so Lance Bond says aloha. Tammy says
Hi,
aloha.
Lance. Hi,
and
Tammy.
Heather Peck says aloha.
Hi, Heather.
Hello, Heather. Hey, Tammy and Lance too. Good. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming. It's always good to have people live. And it's always great to be live if you're watching this later, because then you can ask us your burning questions. All right.
Sizzling questions.
So when we are looking at property in East Hawaii versus West Hawaii, obviously, like, the biggest difference overall is price point, right?
Yep.
So the median home values, when we're looking at those, we mostly focus on the South Hilo district and the Puna district because that's where the vast majority of our sales take place. So median sales price right now in East Hawaii in the Puna district is sitting at about $360,000. So that's a lot lower than it is over here in West Hawaii.
At 1.2 million.
1.2 million. Oh my goodness. Now keep in mind, in East Hawaii, we have riskier lava zones. So that does include that data as well. So you'll see quite a bit of a price difference in lava zones 1 and 2 versus lava zones 3.
Right.
Something that we say over and over again. So, but the median is still sitting there at $360,000. And that is a 24% increase still over what we saw a year ago. So
Wow.
the market is
Still cooking.
it's still pretty high.
Yeah.
All right. And then the South Hilo district, that's the other district where most of our inventory is, most of our sales are. So the median price is sitting at about $527,000. So $527,000 year to date right now. And that is an increase of 27.9% from where it was a year ago.
Wow.
So I would say East Hawaii has got a pretty hot market still right now. I have not seen the data. This is something we talked about last month. I have not seen the data show a decrease in median sales price yet.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Things are kind of stabilizing. The market is kind of, correcting, if you will, but I'm not seeing a drop in
prices.
value, and certainly not a crash.
Yes, no crash.
Yes.
In fact, I was just telling Amber that when looking at days on market, we're getting higher days on market in West Hawaii. I don't know how much yours is going up, but we're also getting a 40% decrease in home prices in West Hawaii. Because that's what happens when it goes really sky high, right?
Yeah.
So now sellers are starting to get the memo that the price, the market has changed. So they're actually offering some price decreases to get those homes off the market. But you're not quite seeing that kind of level of activity, right?
No, I'm not seeing that level of decrease. I am seeing price reductions more often, and properties coming off the market and then going back on the market.
With new prices?
With
improved price points.
That's the term that us realtors love. New improved price.
Right.
See how we can package that to make it sound a little more palatable.
Right.
But I think a lot of what is happening is we've been seeing this market go up and up and up and up. Crazy amounts. Like we just talked about, over almost 28% in Hilo from where it was just a year ago. And then think about pre-pandemic. We've just been seeing up and up and up. Like, I don't think we've seen a real estate appreciation like this in decades. I mean, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So people were pricing, kind of like, oh, I'm going to catch this wave of going up and up and up. And now things are slowing down. So people are kind of pricing too aggressively is what I think is happening, more than really like overpricing. So I think that's why we're seeing so
you're
many
still
price
seeing
reductions.
sellers who are still trying to catch the market, even though the
Yes.
market has shifted.
Yeah, I believe that's why we see so many price reductions.
Okay, so you are seeing price reductions too.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because Kona definitely, when your house has to sit there, and you know how this goes, right? If your house is sitting even 2 weeks, you know you've done something wrong, right?
Yes.
And then realtors who are smart say, hey, let's not chase down the market with
Yeah.
pricing. Let's figure out a way to like get a correct price.
Yeah.
And then they can bring the prices down. And so I think that this is happening across the country right now.
Oh, yeah.
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 And so, just so you guys know, I asked a question on the Facebook group about what would it take for you to come back into the market. And a couple people said, if I can just get my house off the market on the mainland, I would have the money to buy a house in Hawaii. So they can't
yes.
sell their houses either. And so it kind of, it's the all boats rise and fall, right? So, so that's another reason. So we were just talking about this, that when people say, oh, if I buy a house now at this price, how do I know it's not going to lose value? So what are you telling your buyers when you start talking like that?
These are good conversations to have. First of all, none of us really know, because we can't predict with certainty that when you buy a house, if you use me as a realtor, if you use Julie as a realtor, if you use one of the other 365 realtors or any awesome realtor on this planet, none of us can predict for sure that your house isn't going to lose value. So I'll start with that little disclaimer.
Okay.
But one of the things that overall I am kind of coaching people through in East Hawaii that kind of makes us so unique even from West Hawaii is that affordability in East Hawaii right now is a really big deal, because even if the market slows and you might think, well, the market's slowing, we're going to see prices decrease. You were just talking about seeing that over on the west side, and I'm saying I haven't really seen that over on the east side. It's still kind of about supply and demand. And in the world that we live in right now, a lot of people can live and work remotely, and they might be coming to the Big Island to buy a house, looking at the whole island and saying, oh, I can buy a house on the east side and have a way higher quality of life, at least based on like,
Finances.
Financially speaking. And so there's like a bigger supply of buyers. So I really believe that in East Hawaii, just because of the affordability of it, that the prices are actually going to hold steady, especially in that Lava Zone 3 property. That's kind of the magic number when it comes to Lava Zones, Lava Zone 3 and up. That I think is going to hold value because of affordability.
Right. And also demand for affordability.
Demand for affordability is huge. And when we talk about affordability, just for everyone at home, what we're basically talking about, I mean, there's different ways to measure it, but the way most people measure it is, the average income of somebody and then the average price of a home. And then this year, we have that third factor coming in, which is mortgage rates, because not everybody here is a cash buyer, right?
Right.
So we saw mortgage rates they have almost
doubled
since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, right. And also another thing too, if you guys don't realize it, and I think some of the people who are going to be watching this have been like tapping into what's going on in East Hawaii. But the one thing about Lava Zone 3 is you can get a mortgage right?
Yes.
So when you
Yes.
get a mortgage, then you are affected by interest rates, right? And so the concept of making sure that you can get a mortgage on a Lava Zone 3 property and still knowing that it's okay because the demand is strong enough that you are not going to see a crash in housing values. Now, if you're like, you talk about crash in housing values. The crash in housing value shows up when Kilauea explodes and it runs over your house. That will do you in every day, and that's going to happen if you decide to go to Lava Zone 1. 2, yeah, but 3, you're doing pretty good, right?
Yeah, as far as at least, mortgage and insurance, Lava Zone 3 and up is pretty much all the same. But yeah, there is that whole factor of the volcano. That might even affect some of Lava Zone 3 as well. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Okay, so Eric is lobbing over his crystal ball. Think, is there going to be a drop in mortgage rates? We don't know. Will the volcano explode and take Lava Zone 3 out? Probably not, but maybe there's an opportunity. And our housing price is going to decline. Not too sure. But you know what? This is the reason why there's affordability in East Hawaii, because there's that level of not knowing of what's going to happen. Whereas if you buy an investment property in West Hawaii, we're not, at least they're building housing in East Hawaii. They're not building any houses over here in West Hawaii. And so there's like a supply problem. But the good thing about East Hawaii is that there's some open land. And it looks like, help me if I'm wrong, Ainaloa is starting to put more homes up.
Yeah, there's a lot of new construction in Ainaloa. And Ainaloa is, for those of you who have never heard that word before, that's a neighborhood. It's the name of a subdivision in East Hawaii. It's actually in Pahoa. Most of Pahoa is in risky lava zones. However, Ainaloa is Lava Zone 3. So it is probably one of the hottest neighborhoods right now, especially if we're talking about East Hawaii and affordability. It is truly, I believe, like the last frontier, or just about the last frontier of affordable real estate that is in Lava Zone 3 in the state of Hawaii.
Yeah, the whole state. Yeah, right?
I mean,
honestly. So what can you get a house for in Ainaloa?
Okay, so in Ainaloa, Lava Zone 3, I see, most houses at about 350,000. That is the latest comps. I just went under contract with one last week and just ran all the comps of all the recent sales, and that's about where they're sitting at, roughly about 350,000. And that's really if you're looking at things that are under contract, things that have recently sold, and things that are kind of active on the market right now. So 350,000, I mean, what can you buy in West Hawaii for
nothing.
Absolutely
nothing. No, maybe an acre of open land.
Maybe an acre of open land. And in East Hawaii, in Ainaloa, that'll buy you a single family home, 2 or 3 bedrooms, 1,200 to 1,400 square feet. You have a yard. Most of those yards, they're not as big as some of the other neighborhoods. You're not going to have acreage, but you're still going to have a decent yard.
Right.
Your dogs run around.
You know what the best thing is? You get to live in Hawaii.
You get to live in
Hawaii. When it's 115 degrees on the West Coast right now, you get a chance to live in 80 degrees.
Yeah.
So, but we were also talking about what's happening with the sales volume, to talk about kind of the overall concept of what's happening. So there's money moving into East Hawaii, right? What's the percentage that has increased year over year for that, to show people kind of like, in terms of like the interest in terms of what's happening?
Oh, yes.
Overall?
Okay, so overall sales volume is up in the Puna district almost 25%.
Wow.
I mean, that's a pretty big statistic. And in South Hilo, it's at about 12%, which is still pretty high.
Yeah.
So we are still seeing a huge demand for sales. And it'll be interesting to see what things do over the next year, because we are still kind of seeing the effects of coming out of this crazy market. But it is still a seller's market. We are seeing more inventory, but it's still not a healthy, balanced market. The best statistic I saw for our inventory on the east side was we have about 3.5 months supply of inventory in the Puna district right now, which is still not quite a balanced, healthy market. We want closer to 5 or 6 months.
5 or 6, yeah. In fact, there's an economist that I'm bringing to the Big Island to talk to everybody who wants to be here for it. He says this was a savagely unhealthy real estate market, because it's still, the housing prices are high. The mortgage rates now are high. There's not that much inventory, and still buyer demand remains strong. So
Yeah.
But you know what though? I think it was even worse though when every realtor was putting in 6 offers for every single buyer they had.
Yeah.
Where for me, just recently, I put an offer in for a buyer. We were the only person offering full price, and she got it. right? And then Eric had one where he put in an offer for a woman here on a condo. He got it. Have you had just like you put a decent offer in and then you immediately get it?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but if we had been doing this a few months ago, we would have been like, oh my gosh, all we do is just throw offers at
Yeah.
places all day long and we never get a chance to tell our buyer that they got the offer.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's frustrating for buyers too. Some of you watching may have been in the market earlier this year and experienced that frustration. And that's something that I know realtors are talking about nationwide, buyers pulling out just because of all of the uncertainty too.
Yeah,
You know, we have all these factors, mortgage rates, we have inflation, we have these high prices still, we have, you know, growing inventory, but still low inventory. You know, just a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll tell you guys, I was, one of the places I subscribe to is Altos Research, and he does the real-time real estate market forecast for the whole country. And he said inventory is growing as people are getting their houses for sale, for, you know, getting ready, and they are expecting the fall market to be different now that the buyers have had their summer vacation, and as we call it, the revenge travel is going to be over. So they, he said that inventory is building, and then it will go on the market in September, and buyers who have been waiting for a very long time to be able to get the thing without having to have like 14 other people to compete against are going to buy those houses. And then he foresees January having less inventory than we've had in 3 years. So if you guys are waiting, I'm just saying that at least we have homes on the market to buy,
Yes.
right? And you're not competing with everybody else and their dog.
Yeah.
And this might be an opportunity for you to finally say, you know what, I'm going to get in and I'm going to not have to compete with a bunch of other people and I'm not going to have to buy as is. And I can actually ask for some different things to make the house sale go a little bit better in the buyer's favor, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, I mean, I know people might go, really, is it a good market to buy? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the challenges. There's challenges, and like the big one that, you know, I'm talking about this month on our thing is affordability and how that affects things. But, you know, if we're really looking down the road, you know, I don't see affordability getting better. I think there's a chance it could get worse or at least kind of stay where we're at. And especially since this is an East Hawaii focused podcast today, and in East Hawaii, I really see probably the prices holding just because even though affordability is a challenge overall and it causes problems for everybody, nobody likes it, investors don't like it, home buyers don't like it, it's not great for renters, but overall in East Hawaii, you got a good chance right now. Mortgage rates, yes, they have doubled, but look back to the 70s and the 80s when they were 15% or higher, like, what?
Yeah.
You know, overall, historically, still super low.
Yeah,
and,
in fact, I think it's under 6% right now. You know, when
Yeah.
Eric and I bought our house in Sunnyvale, it was 7.5%. We felt pretty damn lucky,
yeah.
right?
Isn't that crazy?
So it's all perception. But also, I want to tell you guys that we saw this chart that we were given to by our brokers, and it basically said that for the most part, the housing market goes up 4% every year. 4% every year. And then what happened was during the crash, it dropped. And it dropped for like 5 or 6 years. And they had two charts. If you had just kept going at 4% year over year, we would be exactly where we are right now in terms of housing prices. So this isn't, oh my gosh, where's the next 50% decline ever going to happen again? It's not. In fact, what they said that was like the hand of God you're never going to see again, because it just isn't going to drop like that. People have money in the market, and the houses has equity, and we're not having crazy mortgage scams. But we are at where we would have been if you bought a home 20 years ago. You would be exactly what your house price would be if we hadn't had the market correction.
I mean, that is why home ownership is the greatest way to build wealth.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
But that is interesting. And I still hear people, do you still hear people talking about the crash that's coming and predicting that? And we got to remember that just because there is correlation between some data points, like affordability is bad now. Affordability was bad in 2006, right before, the bubble burst. But it wasn't really, there's correlation but not causation there, because they're kind of different situations. I mean, affordability was really bad in the 70s and 80s too, actually way worse than it is right now, if you can believe that. I know it's hard for people to believe like how crazy prices are all over the country, but it was actually way worse back then, and there wasn't a big crash because of that. So it's not completely unprecedented what we're seeing right now. But yeah, no, I do think if you're on the sidelines right now, be encouraged by some of these stories of buyers are getting offers accepted. Yes, interest rates are higher than they were, but they're still historically
Yeah,
low.
they're still
and
good. Yeah.
That warning of, maybe we might have real low inventory beginning of next year.
Right. And you know what? We were talking about this. When you get low inventory, it's hard to find your dream house. And also, the concept is every day that you wait and you're sitting on the sidelines, sitting on the mainland, that's one less day you get a chance to live in Hawaii.
And it's so great living in Hawaii.
Yeah. And so if you're a gardener and you love the green and you love the beaches, in fact, Amber and I were at a party in Hilo on Sunday.
Yes.
And we got a chance to be on a beautiful sunny day. It was like 82 degrees. All the kids were playing at the parks and they were in the tide pools and it was a beautiful day. And, I was telling her, I go, oh my gosh, where's that rain you hear about in Hilo? And one of our other friends said that it rains at night, maybe early in the morning, but you get a beautiful day.
You get so many beautiful days in Hilo. If you guys are afraid of the weather in East Hawaii, don't be afraid of the weather. Sure, there are some months where it's gray a lot. But overall, it's beautiful, it's green, and the sun comes out, and then the rain will come for a few minutes, and then it'll go, and the sun comes back out. We've got beautiful beach parks. We have super fun night market in Hilo
what about the night market?
On
Okay.
Fridays. I'm hearing more and more vendors, now that we're coming out of the pandemic. I don't know where we're at. We're at the pandemic, but we seem to socially be coming out of the pandemic, at least. People are excited to do things. There's more events happening. And that night market's picking up steam. And
and then talk about the farmers market in Pahoa.
Yeah, we have awesome farmers markets. Nothing against West Hawaii, but a lot of West Hawaii farmers markets are, there's a lot of tourism in West Hawaii compared to East Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So we have some just good, authentic farmers markets. My favorite farmers market on the whole island is Maku'u, and that's actually over on the east side in the Puna district. It's a great one, and it is on Sundays. So Sunday late morning is usually the best time to hit that one. You'll find good music, vendors, food. It's just, it's a great place to live.
Well, and it's funny because a lot of the farmers markets on our side that have produce, it usually comes from East Hawaii.
Yeah.
So get it right from the farmers. And also, I've had a couple people in the last 2 weeks say they're coming in September and they want to come and kind of drive around the island, kind of get a feeling for it because now they think that the time is right to buy. And if you do want to consider buying in East Hawaii and you do want to learn a bit more about what life is like over there, obviously Amber is the expert. She lives there and she sells real estate there. And if you do want to have more information sent to you about what it's like to live there, I do have people in our 365 Hilo newbies group that are willing to talk story with you, and so join that group. And then I also have the East Hawaii real estate guide that gives you some moving resources. And obviously, Amber is the pro on talking about real estate and getting you guys up on a real estate listing alert. Awesome. And then also, if I can do it and plug it myself, I have the Insider's Guide of Buying Real Estate on the Big Island of Hawaii. And if you are actually watching this live from the Facebook group, I will send 3 of these out. If you put your name in right now, I will give 3 of these to you guys right now. So that's your gift for being here. And then also, if you happen to be watching from the east side and think that Kona is your place you want to live, I have the How to Move to Kona guide, and I'll give you guys a copy of that too. So
there's nobody who knows how to move to Kona better than this lady.
I have 3 times the charm. So is there any other questions coming from the Facebook page?
Nope. Tammy just chimed in. She says, agreed. It rains mostly at night, early morning. It keeps our island so green and beautiful. I'm in Kaupuna, and we have another beautiful afternoon. And then Heather Peck says, woo! And she would like a book.
Oh, she wants a book.
Sheila
Okay.
Johnson also jumped in.
Oh, Sheila Johnson too. Good. Okay, you guys get them. So with that, we are going to say aloha, and then we will bring Amber back to do kind of like a little bit of a market report for our TT&T.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today. It's our third Thursday at 3. And we might actually do it at 4 so that more people can join in. And do you have any closing thoughts on what you want people to know about real estate, East Side, your life, anything?
You know what? Hawaii is a beautiful place to live. Every day here is a gift. I know that it can be a heavy lift if you guys are relocating to the Big Island. So feel free to reach out and really get plugged in. My number one tip is get plugged into these 365 groups. Those have so much value. Not just because you can make friends there, but you can crowdsource so much great information. And so what 365 Hawaii has created, what Eric and Julie here have created is just such a great resource, and get plugged in. Take advantage of it. I wish I had that when I moved
Me
here.
too.
I mean, they made what we all wish we had. So
Yeah. So, so guys, if you check out the YouTube channel, it's 365 Real Estate Minute on YouTube, and then we also have the podcast if you want to see this one, and also obviously our Facebook group if you guys want to ask questions, and also we put in information about like resource guides and also hot finds for real estate. So with that, we will say aloha.